Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sahaja Yoga, Queensland meditation this morning. Please bow down to Shri Mataji, raise your Kundalini and put on a Bhajan, and let us then settle down into meditation, listening to Rag Gunkali for the Nabi Chakra. Excuse me. Now let us sing one mantra to Sri Ganesha. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ganesha Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Let's take our attention to Sahasrara, and with our right hand down towards Mother Earth, left hand palm upwards on our lap, let's take one mantra to Shri Mahakali Bhairava. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahakali Sakshat Shri Bhairava Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Let the qualities of Shri Mahakali and Shri Bhairava flow into our left side, and may all negativities be absorbed by Mother Earth. Still with our attention on Sahasrara, put our left hand up towards the sky, principle, and the right hand back on our lap, palm facing upwards. And we can put attention on our right side and take the mantra for Sri Mahasaraswati Anamana. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahasaraswati Sakshat Shri Hanumana Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. May the beauty of Sri Mahasaraswati and the eagerness of Sri Hanumana flow into our right channel, and may all the negativity escape into the ether, the sky principle. Keep our attention on the Sahasrara. Now we can put both hands back down, raise it up towards the heart level, both hands, palm facing upwards, and here with our attention on Sahasrara and beyond. Let us sing one mantra to Shri Mahalakshmi Ganesha. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahalakshmi Sakshat Shri Ganesha Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. May the Kundalini rise up within us, shoot up through Sarasrara, up higher and higher, and may our connection with the divine be complete. May we find balance in this world and in heaven today. I've chosen a video on YouTube to listen today called Desire and Action from 1982, and this is more a talk to Shri Mataji made to yogis in general. I'll play the first 20 minutes, followed by a couple other following sections within this video.
This jaggery, the one you ate in London?
Yes, we do.
You get in England?
Yes, we do.
I never saw this jaggery.
Yeah, in Indian shops, no.
Indian shops, but not in English shops.
Not in English shops, no. Indian shops in England.
No, but not in English shops as such.
They don't sell it.
So this jaggery is a very good thing when you come out from somewhere like dusty places or something, you're sore throat, you take a little bit of jaggery and drink some water. It's a very good idea. See, one should take to simple medicines, because if you take to antibiotics, this, that nonsense, then you become very weak and you have to, it has a reaction, then you have to take something else for the reaction. It's a funny thing. It is antibiotic. It's a bio means life. It is anti-life.
And the one about mycin.
ये
मेरा ले लो शॉल ले लो
You know, I don't want for at all. Just like that, no, because it's not worth out. But one smile from England.
I will ask them. Do you want me to ask you about that?
Put it out. It's not my choice. Put it out. Put it out. She wants to like it.
And if there was also a relationship between tomorrow's puja and full moon and so on.
Should I have to boast about myself?
Yes.
And you know, it is Parabrahma. That is the complete divine power. Or the Holy Ghost is the complete divine power. Is the complete desire of God, which has taken a form. Now imagine, God is just a spectator. He is not one who is going to create anything. He is just going to destroy actually. Because if he doesn't like the spectacle, he can destroy and the desire disappears. Like any desire you have within yourself. the complete desiring power within it. Without that, what are you? You are just watching your desire working it out. So this desire power is the left-sided thing, as you say, and then first it has to come to desire. The desire becomes then the action power. And action and desire put together start evolving things. So everything is inclusive in that. Whether you say sun, moon, stars, everything is in that. But the moon is the desire. Ultimately, when it also collapses back, first of all, it works out, it evolves, and then again reversed, you see. Then it goes back to desire. Desire disappears into the spectator, and the whole thing becomes a Parabrahma thing. So the identification with one or the other cannot be said. It's everywhere. If it is everything, how can you identify with anything as such? Moon is one of the symbols. Moon is one of the symbols. Why? Because according to Sahaja, we reached a stage where you touch the Sadashiva in the symbolic form. You see, or if you can say that after getting realization, if you see the abstract form of God, then we say after reaching your Brahmarandra, you cross over your limbic area and then you go to Ardha Bindu. Ardha Bindu is the moon. Moon is the spirit. Because Shiva also wears the moon on his head. Sadashiva also wears the moon on his head. So moon is the spectator, isn't it? Sun is the working part. He works and it reflects on the moon. So you become a spectator yourself and start going into that. So every symbol is the same. And now why we use the moon more than the sun about the timings? Because it is the moon which is more effective in creating desires within us. Like the moon affects even the sea, not the sun. Sun is a constant stuff practically, except for it changes its axis sometimes. And the distances between sun has not much significance with the earth, except that if the earth loses its axis a little bit more or becomes a little flatter, then maybe that the speed of the earth may be reduced. So we can only control the speed. But the moon is a subtler thing, which acts on subtler ways. Because you have seen the moon acts on the tides, it acts on the temperaments. It is a much subtler thing. Desire is much more subtler than the action itself. It's a deeper thing. So the action comes out of the desire. So it is better to affect the desire than to affect the action. And that is why in India people accept moon as the indicator for dates and all that. But in the West, people are so much time bound that for them they would not like to have these variations because they are not prepared for any such variations. For them, 12 o'clock is 12 o'clock. And they are very, very rigid people. Such rigid people are no good. They are not living people. So it is not one way or other. Even Surya, the sun, is very important. But why the moon is important? Because it makes you subtler. And that is why one should achieve the moon, as they say. Right-sided people must achieve the moon. Means they should be little bit changing their programs, little flexibility, otherwise there's no gap in between. You see, they're running like mad. Absolutely, it's a rat race. The whole ego is created by the sun. Complete horrible nonsense. It just doesn't give them any idea to see where are they. It's such a barrier, you see. We don't try to see ourselves, where are we? Now you have seen the simple villagers who live so spontaneously. Just take yourself out completely and think. Compare to them and yourself, what are you? As a human being, as a quality of a person, quality, intrinsic. I mean, one may think anything of oneself, but as a quality. Like Christ himself has said, that if you want gold, I'll give you gold. Gold represents right-sidedly. If you want gold, I'll give you gold, but you will not enter into the kingdom of heaven, and you will not eat on the same table as I do. Only those who love me, love me. Again the quality of moon. Will sit with me to eat. So the people who think no end of themselves should value themselves at some point, you see. They should see what do we think of ourselves, see. What is so great of ourselves? What are we in the eyes of God? All these things are going to be finished. They are nashvara. They are perishable. You are admiring perishable things and thinking that you are great. All right, so go ahead with them. But one has to go with something that is not perishable. And actually I would say that if the Western people start taking to moon calendar, they would be better off. They'll have some more time. And they'll think of auspiciousness, you see. In India it's very important to know what is the auspiciousness. But what we think of this, 10 o'clock is 10 o'clock, like a teacher who is here now, principal sir. He is a Brahmin, supposed to be. He's an Englishman, I think, must have put a hand on his head. He said, if the program will be at 6 or no. Now there are children there. You can't just do it at 6, it has to be done at 7. He doesn't mind if the children don't get the blessings or anything, but as long as it is at the time at 6 o'clock. And the time is short. What have we achieved by worshipping the sun to that extent? We have neglected the one who is sitting on the sun is Jesus Christ himself. He is at the, of course, at the crossing point of both. But we have neglected. All that is subtle. Whatever you can see in the sunshine is the fact for you people. Nothing beyond. In the best, I mean. Isn't it? It's not true. Moon has such an influence. I read a book called as Supernature. You might have read also. The fellow has been dealing with some scientific experimentation. And he said there were some oysters. The oysters were placed in Los Angeles, you see. So they removed them and put them to some Ohio or some place in the center of America. Now there is no sea there for those oysters. But they used to close and open according to the tidings at Los Angeles for a month. From them you could make out what is the tiding there. Then gradually they started changing. And then they took to the timing of opening and closing. If the moon at that time was putting the tides of a sea which doesn't exist there in Ohio. As if there was a sea and the moon would come in and would attract this sea. Accordingly, these were opening and closing, because when there is high tide they close and when there is low tide they open. So with that timing they were working. So the living things have such an effect of the moon. So I think Indians should become more sort of active, though they are, I think, quite active now. They should not be any more active. Otherwise they'll become Rajogunis, not Sattvagunis. Only Rajoguna is now good and only Tamoguna is not good. And if you become too much Rajogunis also, what happens? You get to the bad effects of moon, and then you become lunatics and what paranoid, otherwise all these things come to you and you go up to that. If you take to drugs, all extreme left-sided stuff is from the moon. Auspiciousness comes from not only from the sun but also from the moon, mainly from the moon, and also from the stars. Auspiciousness is a very subtle quality, isn't it? Which you cannot see, you cannot understand. How many people in the West also accept astrology as any basis? No. Even William Blake is regarded as a madman. 99% English think like that. They are all very wise. You tell them of William Blake, they say, oh, he the madman. And for them, that horrible fellow, Lord, who? I don't want to take his name. But the most sensible person. Now how could, imagine 100 years back, how could William Blake many things so precisely? You haven't brought that, huh? Nobody has brought. Huh?
Somebody might have.
Have you got? William Blake? मिलता है? हाँ?
लोणावळ्याला कविता वाचून दाखवला मला.
ना तीन आहे. पुढचं म्हणजे केन्सिंग्टन गार्डनचं फारच सुंदर आहे. All right, then can you go? Do you know where it is written? Kensington Garden thing?
Marcus has one or two.
Huh?
Marcus has one.
Marcus knows. Into such details, you see. And then think of this man, 2000 years back, writing about me. That Parabrahma itself will be arriving.
And you will get Kundalini also.
Awakening, 1970 साली मी सुरू केलं सहजो.
आणि तेच यांनी लिहिलं 70 साली केलं.
आणि 2000 years back.
हा.
And a new method of yoga will come up. Everything being there, just imagine. So the people who believe in the sun and the timing of the sun, you see, live in the bounds of sun only. And also bound of the, what you call the time, which is so superficial. They never think of an auspiciousness, of something deeper. Their whole attitude is so superficial. Whatever you see in the sun, they see nothing beyond. Normally people who come, say, from abroad, not Saj Yogis, because now you have become settler. What will they see in a country or in a place is, oh God. I don't know. Sometimes this bathroom culture is so much, you just get fed up. Now for all nonsensical things, so much time is wasted, you see. I mean, one should be house proud, but to the extent people waste their time cleaning their little brass, whatever they have, Even a rat doesn't enter the house. Sometimes I think what a waste of energy. But when they think that way, then they become so untidy that, Baba, it's a pigsty. From one to another. It is something in between. One has to understand. Even to have culture, you have to be in between. Like, you must know the sun and you must know the moon. You must have both the things, or there will be no culture in it. Culture cannot develop in an extreme state. Some sort of an extreme thing might develop, you see. But not the culture. And the culture is a thing which supports and sustains the dharma, sustains a human quality. That is the culture, not the culture which does not sustain that. Like somebody told me that it is in Western culture that the women must expose themselves more than the men can. I mean, that's it. Why should they? Just think of it. Are they prostitutes or what? But who is going to talk if I say anything? As it is, they are criticizing me. Then they will say, oh, this, they'll brand me as something Victorian lady coming down here or something. You see, the way they are giving you ideas also through this over activity of the right side are absurd ideas. They will not give you the quality that a human being should have. You see, there's no value for your life, no value and no self-respect. They don't teach you self-respect. It's a tremendous task. You don't know, the whole thing has to change. A whirlwind has to come to change this. You understand, Ruth? It's a very tremendous, great work one has to do in that country. I don't know. As it is, you see, people when they come to India or anything, they come to see here the poverty of India. I mean, that's not your lookout. That is the government's job. But they come here for that. And they get upset with it and they just go. So what are you doing about it even if you are upset? It's because of you only people are poor. If you go and live with somebody for 3 days, the person will become poor. 300 years you stick on to any country, what is going to happen? 300 years. The aggressiveness. Look at the aggressiveness. In your country, if somebody comes for more than 6 months, he will be taken to task and put in the jail. You go to somebody's country, 300 years you live there. I mean, just look at yourself. What sort of a temperament is this? So aggressive, you know? How can you do it? Is it any self-respecting thing to go to somebody's country? Even now they are doing the same thing, you don't know. Still so much aggression is there that unless until you Sahajogis understand that this is too much of an aggression on all the developing countries. What have you done to Africa? Also just think, all the Western people must think about it. West Africa, you see, East Africa, because they have got copper in West Africa, all of them are gone, sitting down nicely. I mean, this is not your... Why do you want to have their copper? Zambia, every place you go, all the white-skinned people are there. Otherwise, the Negroes are the worst people, because the copper is there. South Africa, why are you there? I mean, you have nothing to do with South Africa. You better get out. Because gold is there, they think they have a right to be there. I mean, anything. Imagine, think of this. Imagine. If there are two neighbors living, now think of it. You see? Two neighbors are living. Because another person has bought some gold, so you go to his house, settle down there, take all his gold. It is as simple as that. You have no right to snatch anything from anyone. But this is because of worship of the sun, the aggressions. They don't see. In the sun you can't see anything, you see, actually. Your eyes are too dazzled. It's a serious thing. One has to think. Now, Sahaja Yoga is all right. You are built up, you are coming up. But you have to understand, and ultimately you will destroy yourself, which you are up to. If the third war breaks out thanks to your intelligence, then India is not going to be affected. All the developing countries are not going to be affected. I mean, what is the culture behind? I mean, there's some limits to things also. The movement of Sahaja Yoga in the West is so slow. I mean, if it is a train moving here, there an ant crawling. Really, it's a fact. Only Australia is the one which I have real hopes for, I must say. And now the Australians will have to send all the criminals from Australia to England to settle. This is the situation. At least poor thing Australians are still thinking in not those lines. At least Australians have never invaded any country. They have never invaded any country. Never in the history I have not heard of them invading any country or occupying some country or going to some place for gold. They are actually, some of them are. But they are not so aggressive as to go and settle down in a country for 300 years. Can you believe it? And they would not go. Would not go at any cost. Very difficult. Think of it. Some guest coming in your house and settling down. For 300 hours. Ah.
Mother, I'm speaking on behalf of the parents in Australia. We've got several children in Australia. We'd like to have a school for Sahaja school. And we're not quite sure on how to go about setting a school up and what is needed as with the needs of the children.
Yes, I mean, this is what you tell me now. Do you think they'll accept me in a school there? You tell me this is not possible, we'll have to make a school here. Isn't it?
Well, you can have a private school. You can have a private school in Australia.
In Australia?
Yes.
You can really have any ideology you like.
Really?
Yeah.
Better start? I mean, just think of the schools. What nonsense they are teaching to our small children there, you see? Or they are attacking innocence in every way. If you see, the whole culture is to attack the innocence. Have you noticed it? Horrifying actually. I feel horrified. Because you see, I cannot think like Eastern Western nonsense. But what I feel, they are my children, you know. That's the place which is created by God. Abdi rasa talala Abdi rasa talala. They think no end of themselves.
How?
Huh?
How?
But you better tell me. It's a very difficult situation, isn't it? You all are thinking, people, you better think on these lines. I desire for it. I can only fulfill your desires. But I don't know what desires you can ask for. That's why take to moon, so the moon will work it out.
Mother, could we come back to the subject of a school in Australia for a moment?
What is it?
The subject of a school again in Australia.
Sir.
It's related to our own development, isn't it, really? Because as it now stands, we are spending 2 months in India, and hopefully we're going to go home a lot stronger. When we go home, we're going to be exposed to all the negativity again. The parents will be having their children in a school, where they're being fed a lot of garbage, and a lot of time is devoted to clearing and trying to maintain the situation. I'm speaking grossly now, rather than developing ourselves. And what Ray has said really is a very urgent need for us.
I mean, try to do something about it. I mean, I would love to have something like that. Try to work it out. I'll be very happy. I'll bless it with my heart. Try to work it out. You see, on my own, I can start it here. I told these people in England also there's a plot of land which is available. Somebody is willing to give me there also. But the English people are not happy about it. They said, Mother, don't have any school here. Because children will be exposed. Isn't it? They want all those children to come. I mean, they are born with that ego atmosphere, you see, breathing that ego atmosphere. Terrific people. Even children are terrible. Like Linda's son. Baba. You just can't control them there. I'll be very happy if you start a school like that. Please. I mean, I'll be very happy. When our ashram is done, I mean, when we have proper arrangement for you, people can come down and can work it out. But you see, you should be made so strong that not only that you should be able to face that nonsense, but also create something new. Like you see, you have to become like lotuses in the mud. And fight the worms in the mud who think no end of themselves. You see, this is difficult. But still, I mean, you just understand the importance.
Could the Australians bring an Indian teacher down to Australia to teach their children?
You can try, but I don't know, whatever you say, you can try that. So what trying, I must say, for trying everything. I mean, you think it or put your mind to that, I think that would be a much better idea. With the whole society, it's half of the world. Thank God most of the population is in India and in China. It's a good idea. Make up. Later, rasa talala sarva.
We'll leave that there now. I'll just play a Bhajan, Marathi song 4.
is there to fear? The world is grateful to him for his blessings. But still, he doesn't belong to the world because he is in a completely detached state. What is there to fear?
Thank you for joining us in meditation this morning. For those who need to leave now, you can bow down to Shri Mataji, raise your Kundalini and put on a Bandhan. For those who wish to meditate for a little longer, I'm going to put Rag Abhogi, one of the rags for the Nabi, and especially for if you're having trouble with food. So I'll leave it at that. Jai Shri Mataji, thank you for meditating with us this morning.
Raga Abhogi. Please put your attention on Navi Chakra, one of the most melodious classical raga. Very soothing and melodious to listen. I told you already, please put your attention on Navi Chakra, it's related to our stomach. Food is famous for the quiz, for the taste. Raga Abhogi is very much known for his melody. Raga Abhogi.
Jai Shri Mataji. Thank you for meditating with us all this morning. Have a beautiful day. Bye.